You know that feeling when you look at your citrus tree and you just know something's wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it? It's like it's trying to tell you something. Well, today, we're going to put on our detective hats. Think of this as your guide to becoming a citrus detective, where we'll learn to read the clues that our trees are giving us every single day.
So let's just get right into it. Is your tree sending out an SOS? I'm talking about those yellowing leaves, weird spots, or fruit that just doesn't look quite right. Believe me, those aren't random. They are clues. And today, we're going to figure out exactly how to read them.
All right, take a look at this. This is kind of our crime scene, right? You can see some of those classic signs of trouble, that general yellowing color, and if you look really close at the leaves, you'll see this splotchy, mottled pattern. This is a tree that is definitely struggling, and it's our job to figure out why. Now, like any good detective, you've got to have a system. You can't just go jumping to conclusions. So we're going to start our investigation from the ground up. And I mean that literally. We'll start by looking for clues on the roots and the trunk before we ever work our way up to the leaves. Every good mystery has its list of usual suspects, and in the world of citrus diseases, we're dealing with three main types of culprits: fungal, bacterial, and viral. Understanding which one of these you're dealing with is absolutely the first step to cracking the case. Okay, let's get our hands dirty. We're starting at the foundation of the tree. Why? Because problems that start down here, well, they can destabilize the entire plant, often long before you see any obvious issues way up in the canopy. And here it is, our first piece of hard evidence. If you were to gently dig around the base of a struggling tree and find this, dark, mushy, rotting roots, you've found a smoking gun. This points directly to a fungal bad guy named Phytophthora, the thing that causes root rot. So the key is to connect those unhealthy roots to what you're seeing above ground. Are the leaves turning yellow and just falling off? Do you see a sticky, gummy substance oozing out from the bottom of the trunk? This fungus basically destroys the tiny feeder roots, which starves the tree. And in young plants, it's so aggressive it can cause a super fast collapse called damping off. So we've identified the culprit. Now what? Well, first things first, it's all about water management. This fungus loves wet, soggy conditions, so good drainage is non-negotiable. Prevention is even better. Starting with resistant rootstocks is a total game changer. But if you've already gotten an infection, you'll need to carefully prune away the affected roots and then look into applying the right fungicides to stop it. Here's another clue you might find right on the trunk: gummosis. See that cracking bark with the amber-colored sap oozing out? That's a classic symptom, and it's often caused by that very same Phytophthora fungus. If that damage goes all the way around the trunk, that's called girdling. It's like it cuts off the tree's circulation, and that can be fatal. All right, let's move our investigation up the tree. The leaves, they're basically a public bulletin board for the tree's health. The clues are often right there, hiding in plain sight, as long as you know what to look for. And some of those clues point to something that's been called one of the worst diseases of citrus trees in the world. And that is not an exaggeration. We're talking about a really devastating bacterial disease known as huanglongbing or citrus greening. This one is a systemic killer. You get this really unmistakable blotchy mottled pattern on the leaves. Twigs start to die back, and the biggest tell is the fruit. It's small, lopsided, and it ripens unevenly, often staying green at the bottom. This isn't something a tree just bounces back from. It's a slow, sad decline. Okay, detective, let's really put our skills to the test here and compare. On the left, you see citrus canker, another nasty bacterial disease. See those distinct, raised, corky spots? They almost look like little craters. Now look at that next to the blotchy, uneven yellowing of citrus greening on the right. Both are very bad news, but the evidence they leave behind, totally different. So, if your diagnosis points to canker, you have to act fast. First, you've got to prune out all the affected branches right away. And because it's spread by wind and rain, something as simple as a windbreak can be a huge help in stopping it from moving around. And of course, there are specific bactericide sprays that become part of your toolkit. And we can't forget our third group of suspects, the viruses. This is citrus tristeza virus, and its nickname really says it all: quick decline disease. It's spread by aphids, and it causes yellowing, leaf drop, and root problems that lead to a really rapid and tragic decline of the whole tree. But our investigation's not over yet. We need to look at the final pieces of the puzzle, the clues that show up directly on the fruit and branches themselves, threatening the very harvest you've been working for.
So,
If you see this on your lemons or oranges, these kind of ugly, corky, wart-like bumps, you're looking at a fungal disease called citrus scab. Now, it usually doesn't kill the tree, but it can absolutely ruin the fruit, making it distorted and pretty much unusable.
And what in the world is this? A totally bizarre, black, velvety coating that looks like someone dusted the entire tree with soot. This is, very appropriately, called sooty mold. It looks awful, I know, but there's a really fascinating twist to this particular case.
So here's the plot twist. The mold is not the real culprit. It's a secondary problem. This fungus doesn't even infect the tree. It's just growing on the sweet, sticky waste product, it's called honeydew, that's left behind by sap-sucking insects like aphids and scale. So, to solve the sooty mold case, you don't fight the mold. You have to find and get rid of the insects first.
Man, we have identified a lot of culprits today. But you know, the best detective work is preventing the crime before it even happens. So let's wrap all this up by putting together our ultimate prevention toolkit to keep your citrus trees healthy and happy.
This right here is your master checklist for prevention, and you'll start to see the themes, right? Start clean with certified disease-free plants. Choose tougher, resistant rootstocks if you can. Get your watering and drainage right. Keep an eye on those insect populations and practice good hygiene, like disinfecting your tools. This is how you stay one step ahead of the bad guys.
So now that you're practically a certified citrus detective, I'm going to leave you with this question. After all of this, what's the very first health check you're going to give your citrus tree?